is a question that was assigned on section 1.3, chapter 1.3, and it's a good one. It's definitely one that I picked on purpose because I want you to be able to break down the tasks. And so first thing we should always do before we start a problem is read it completely. Make sure we understand it. It says you travel on the highway at a constant speed of 70 miles per hour for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Your vehicle travels 25 miles per gallon and gasoline costs $2.90 per gallon. Don't we wish? How much do you spend on fuel for the trip? So the first thing we have to do is first step one is how far do you travel? So notice this question, this part of the question, you travel on the highway at a constant speed of 70 miles per hour. That's my speed. And then the other important part is we're going to travel for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Okay? So as my car drives, I'm going 70 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. Hopefully there's no kids in the car. So if I'm traveling for 1 hour at 70 miles per hour, I would go 70 miles in 1 hour. And then if I went 2 hours, I would travel another 70 miles. But the thing is, we don't travel for 2 complete hours. We travel for 1 hour. So that first hour, 1 hour, how far is that car going to go in 1 hour's time? It's going to go 70 miles. It's going to travel 70 miles in that first hour. Oh, that shouldn't be blue. That should be in that first hour. Now, we don't travel a complete hour. We travel 45 minutes, which is not in hours. So that's one of the tricks is that 45 minutes is a bit of a tease. We want to go hours. We travel 70 miles per hour, but we're in minutes. So how many minutes is equivalent, 45 minutes is equivalent to how many hours? Well, we know 45 minutes is out of 60. So this actually equals 3/4 of an hour. And there lies one of the tricks that they will do for you, that they do to you. So we need to do 3/4 of 70. So we're going to have to do that math. 3/4 times 70. We're going to cross cancel. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 70 35 times. And now we're going to multiply. And that is going to give me, well, let's go blue again. That's going to give me 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus that 1 is 10. 105 over 2 miles. That's how far you drive in that 3/4 of an hour or 45 minutes. So if we want to change that, that's going to be, if we want to make this a mixed number, 2 goes into that 5 times, 2 goes into 5 2 times, and 1/2 miles. And that makes sense. Is that reasonable? Yeah, because it's less than 70. If you went a full hour, it would have been 70, but we only went 3/4 of 70. So that's 52.5. So our distance is going to be 70 miles plus 52. Let's go decimals too while we're at it. 52.5 miles. And that's going to give you a total of 122.5 miles. Now that's how far you're going to drive. That is your distance. That's why I did that. So this is the distance you drive. That's not what they're asking for at the end of the question, but we need to figure this out in order to take it to the next step. Let's look at the question for the next step. The next step says, The next step, the next part says, and let's do this in yellow, your vehicle travels 25 miles per gallon. Okay, so my car can drive 25 miles and use up 1 gallon of gas. Okay, so for every 25 miles that my car travels, and maybe I should have the car back here. Let's borrow the car. Copy, paste. Let's paste that car back there. So for every 25 miles that my car drives, so let's do green. So 25 miles of driving is I'm going to use 1 gallon of gas. So that's going to be 1 gallon. So we can do this. This will be a gallon. Let's say 1G, 1 gallon. Okay, so 25 miles. If I travel another 25 miles, that's going to be another gallon of gas. Copy, paste. That's going to be another gallon of gas. So we got to go back to question 1 and see how many miles am I going to go. I'm going to go 122.5. So I'm going to need to know how many gallons do I need to drive 122.5 miles. So how many gallons? Well, for every 25. So if we want to find how many 25s are in 122.5, we're going to have to do a little division. So we're going to divide 25 into 122.5. 25 go into 1? No. Does it go into 12? No. Does it go into 122? Yes. 4 times. 4 times 25 is 100. We're going to subtract 2. 0 from 2 is 2. 1 from 1 is 1. We're going to have that decimal. This decimal does not travel down. It only travels up. And this number, however, does travel down. And how many 25s are in 225? Well, I know 8 quarters are in $2. And so if I have $2.25, I will have 9. 9 gives me 225, and it goes in. So that's how many gallons I would need. So this is going to be gallons of gas in order to travel 122.5 miles. Okay, very important. That's the solution to step 2. How many gallons do you need to drive that distance? I need 4.9 gallons of gas to drive 122.5 miles. Now we're going to need this piece of information for the last part, because the last part of the question now asks, and gasoline costs $2.90 per gallon. And the question says, how much do you spend on fuel? How much gas do I need? Okay, well, how much gas do I need? Well, how many gallons did I use? Remember, I used 4.9 gallons, and each gallon costs $2.90. So I'm going to multiply that by $2.90, and we get 4.9 times 2.9. We don't need the 0 when we're calculating, when we're multiplying. So 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 8 is 26. We're going to move a place value over. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. 1 plus 0 is 1. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry the 1. That is 4 and 1. And we have 2 decimal places. So if each gallon costs $2.90 and I buy 4.9 gallons, right? 1 gallon would cost $2.90. 2 gallons would cost another $2.90. 3 gallons would be another $2.90. That's why we're multiplying it. And so the total cost for my trip to go 122 miles, 122.5 miles, using 4.9 gallons would cost me a total of $14.21. Now, I get it how this is tough because A, you don't buy gas, B, you don't fill up your tank, and C, you don't drive a car. So this is the type of question that I explained in class that is challenging. It's hard. So getting this under our belt and doing it and practicing it, that adds to your tools, and then you can refer to it. So when something looks foreign now, because you've done so many of these problems, now you can refer and you've got experience in this problem. So hopefully this helped you. Good luck. I appreciate you asking questions, and let me know if you have any more.